Hi David, great seeing you yesterday and great getting started on the golf game. Here's a bit of a recap of the bunker shot that we're hitting. So really a couple of points where you've just been struggling ever so slightly. Number one, there was too severe an angle of attack actually, which I'd like you to play from a very, very square setup, maybe even a fraction closed with the stance if anything, which as you were alluding to is very much the modern way of playing the bunker shot. So very square, making sure the club is tracking down the ball to target line. So make sure that the club doesn't get too far behind you in the backswing, and of course we're setting little to no wrist hinge, and then of course the shaft leans back ever so slightly through impact. But this key feeling is making sure that the club, there's lots of rotation in the swing, particularly with the pelvis, lack of wrist hinge to keep the angle of attack nice and shallow, and of course making sure the club stays out in front of you. Let's just have a little look at your swing. Yeah, so I've taken a couple of, let's just try and synchronise that if we can. Let's have a look here. Here we go. Right. So the initial swing here on the left-hand side was the original swing. Beg your pardon. Let's just put a plane line in here. So one of the complaints was the big shot off to the left, or of course a bit of a shank, which of course is extremely destructive, especially around Woburn when you've got danger lurking everywhere. And let's just have a look at where this was coming from. So there was a real lack of rotation, particularly through the pelvis, from essentially this point on, which of course was then putting the club well above the plane line. So you can see the steepness in the downswing. Combine that with a lack of wrist set, and of course the club head is passing the hand, so you can really see it's working from the outside, passing the hands through impact, so essentially hitting across the ball and the club face is closing, which can be extremely destructive. Let's just have a look at what we've been trying to do. So number one, actually setting a little bit more wrist hinge on the takeaway to get the club face and of course the wrist set into a better position. So trying to neutralise the club face somewhat, but this is the key. Let me just move the video ever so slightly. Let's look at the position of the club compared to the plane line in the downswing. So of course we're really trying to encourage more rotation through the pelvis. So you can see the left knee towards the ball a bit more, and of course on the downswing you're now sitting ever so slightly closer to the plane line than you were. So as we're working back into the ball, number one, the club head is slightly more behind the hands, but of course look at the difference. The club is working marginally more from the inside as opposed to the outside, which is allowing you to strike down the target line with a more neutral club face, as opposed to the club face working from the outside and the club head overtaking the hand. So it's a subtle change. Of course we've done as much as we could, within the 40 minutes or so, but it's a really important change. It's a change in getting the club working in the right direction, working much more down the target line through impact. The more we can stabilise what the club head does in the 10 inches preceding impact and 10 inches post impact, we'll be in a great place to play some good solid golf. So really looking forward to working together over the coming months and improving the game and rounding it up, and hopefully we can get that handicap down a wee bit.